Well, as editors of the paper, what impact did it have on your life, your local work, your preaching at other places? Or did it?
Well, I got a lot of good preaching material from other people. And writing was not my love. I think somebody said, I felt about it like one fellow said about a woman preacher, like a dog walking on his hind legs. Didn't do it very well, but it's a wonder he did it at all. So, I think of all the editors when the magazine ceased publication, I was the only one that didn't grieve too much about it. But our interaction with each other was really significant. And I think we all missed that. It was rather a remarkable experience. So that, and interaction with people who wrote. Editing was something else I had not planned to do. In fact, the truth is I didn't edit a single issue until Ed started his book on Oral Roberts, and he took a sabbatical. And here I was sitting here, and the other three guys were going to have to take it all, and they looked at me, and I decided, well, I'd edit one issue. One issue. I'll edit one issue. Well, they never. I got one, and they never let me out of the rotation after that. But I learned a great deal. But I won't tell you that writing still, I'm a very verbal individual, and writing is important to make you think, and this is what I guess I didn't like, to organize your thought, to make the transitions meaningful, and it was a great help to me. And so it was beneficial in every way in my thinking.
I know I was invited to meetings in a lot of places that I never would have gone. They thought they were getting D. Bowman, and they found it. At any rate, it was a good experience to get acquainted with brethren in a lot of places that I never would have known otherwise, I think.
It was to say that it wasn't hard, though, it was hard. Because all of us did two articles each month until it was our time to edit, and then of course we had all of those articles to edit, and everybody that sent in an article was always and forever from 2 to 4 paragraphs too long to fit on the front page. So we had to do a lot of that kind of thing. In my own personal instance, I found out very soon that there's this strange connection between inspiration and deadlines. And when it comes time for the deadline, all of a sudden you come up with something that you can put in. Not always as good as you'd like, but it did come around regularly. I think everybody would agree with that.
Was there anybody else that was roped into being an editor, as you put it, Paul? Anybody ever tried to? I mean, y'all ever tried to? I know y'all didn't get anybody, but y'all ever try to get some?
No.
No, I did not.
No, this was it. I mean, once we got Earnhardt's picture in there and made him famous, and we didn't want to try to stretch it too far. No, 5 was enough. I mean, that was, it would have been unwieldy to get much beyond that.
So each of you wrote 2 articles a month, and then you rotated on editing the theme articles that the way it worked, which meant you solicited those articles. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then received them and edited them, got them to the person who was going to do the layout.
And then we had some additional articles in most every issue over and beyond the theme articles. And sometimes people sent those in, sometimes we actually solicited them that might not fit the theme exactly, but something that would be important to keep the paper balanced as much as possible. Sometimes we had to come up with something of our own from the selected, you know.
Some people on the newspaper had pseudonyms and wrote articles under a pseudonym. I'm not going to tell you who it was.
When I was working in radio, I used to have I had some disc jockeys that were always sick on the weekends, and so when the weekend would come around, I usually got a call about once a month from one of them that was sick, and so I'd have to go fill in for him. And rather than tell him, I didn't want anybody to know who I was. So I changed my name to Herman Hilliard. And I would do the radio program under the pseudonym of Herman Hilliard. When I didn't get enough articles, I ran some articles under the name of Herman Hilliard. So they're in the paper. Smart aleck.
Blew your cover after all.
He blew my cover after all these years.
Actually, I wrote a couple of articles for the Gospel Guardian years ago with a pseudonym before I was sure which side I was going to come down.
I'll tell you what was interesting though. You probably could not find 5 more diverse personalities, and yet I don't know about these guys, but I never knew 5 people that I loved any more than I do these guys. 4 of them. Would you quit? They're all just special men, and I sat with them and talked with them, and we endured some things together that melded us together in a way that we never would have had otherwise. And I never saw these men when I thought they were out of line, when they ever tried to hurt anybody, or when they weren't interested in the cause of the Lord. Excuse me.
Always thought we were just alike.
What are your favorite memories from it? I didn't get to grow up reading the magazine. I just found it whenever I broke into Paul's office in Louisville, Kentucky, and started scanning through. And I think I saw that y'all did a cruise one time, Christianity Magazine.
It was a trip. It wasn't
trip?
a cruise. It was the Bible hymns.
What was that like? How'd that go?
That was a wonderful trip. Of course, Farrell Jenkins was the one who led us on the trip, and Ed was not able to go because he was in
That's the
India.
reason it's wonderful. No,
I was going to say, if everybody thought that was their favorite thing.
That was a great experience.
It was.
Farrell planned a very fine trip. We were able to go both to Greece and to Israel, and it was an experience that I'll never forget. And being with these other brethren was certainly a part of making it what it was.
But I expect that most of us would agree that probably our favorite times was every 4th of July. We would meet for a week in Jacksonville, Florida, and we had a meeting at the South Jacksonville Church, and we'd meet and discuss the magazine, and our families came, and those of us with any ability played golf, and others did other things.
Yeah, I wore a golf cap down there one time. Ed accused me of being a hypocrite.
But we always we invited Paul and Sewell that we'd like for them to come with us and play one day, but we were not sure we could get through in a day.